and welcome to Generation Gap. I'm your host, Taylor J., and today we will be discussing Unity Day and foreign students in the U.S. At this time, I would like to have my panel introduce themselves, starting from my left to right.
I'm Ahmed Youssef, a PhD candidate in the Communications, Media, and Instructional Technology department, and I'm from Egypt.
Hi, my name is Annalise Frazier. I am an alumni of IUP from the Masters in TESOL, and I teach over at the American Language Institute, as well as supervise their tutoring program.
Hi, I'm Brianna Alpa. I'm a junior in the Speech Language Pathology program, and I'm from Roxbury, New Jersey.
Thank you, panel. At this time, I would like to send it off to the field report with Allison.
Hi guys, Allison Schumacher here with your field report. Today we're going to be talking to international students about their experiences in America. Let's see what they have to say. So where are you from originally?
I'm from Taiwan.
Okay. And what made you choose IUP?
Some students from our university, they have come here before and they recommend this place to us.
Awesome.
Yes, and they say it's a good place to study, especially for hospitality management students. Yes.
That's your major,
Yes.
hospitality? That's awesome. And what is the biggest difference between IUP and schools at home?
The schools at home, it's a small place, and here is bigger, like a college town. Yeah, and there are more sources for us here to study, and also the students here are very willing to answer questions in the class. But in my hometown, we are just listen to the professors teaching.
More
Yes.
interaction kind of thing.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Back to you, Taylor.
Thank you, Allison. All right, let's get into the discussion. I would just like to start off with the first question. Could you describe in your own terms what it means to be an international student?
I always think about it this way, like being an international student, it means like I left a comfort zone in my home country and I came in here. Not just for education, like education is the main purpose, but it's to experience other things, like different culture, different lifestyle, different people, different language. So like being an international student means that you are in a new experience on all aspects.
Very good answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. As an international student, everything, not everything, but so many things are new, whether it is the classroom environment or the type of students that you're working with or the way the teachers behave and the everyday norms, as well as your living environment, your social environment, even medical, and everything that goes into the norm of the day-to-day can be challenging, but also exciting at the same time.
I think from being a student and working with international students as a community assistant in the residence halls, I would say anyone coming from a different area of the world and immersing themselves in the United States or the American culture.
Very good answers. Could you possibly explain some of the challenges that comes along with being an international student?
Different challenges, but like in terms of education, so we are talking about could be a different educational system, different curricula, dealing with different people, so different minds. But when it comes to challenges, also it has to do with the lifestyle, and maybe I would say like it could be small things, like for example the time for the meals. I'll give you an example. Like in Egypt, like our dinner starts at 9 or 10 p.m.
Oh wow!
And here like 5 is our lunch. So,
Oh, that's pretty
yeah.
funny.
So this one of the you get used to it. The weekend is Friday and Saturday. Here it's Sunday. Sunday is the first day in the working as a work day. So you get used to like changing your lifestyle and the whole system, and to adapt to the new system. This is one of the challenges, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I've seen so many of our students go through many of those things, as well as other teachers, from around the world. Definitely the lunch and the dinner thing kind of screws up how they're feeling throughout the day whenever they're supposed to be working. But some of the other things that I've noticed over the years include like academic slang, or even how to take notes, and when abbreviations come into hand, you know, that's not something that you can look up in a translator for the most part, as well as understanding how to use the technology on campus. Even the simple as using iMail and D2L or Moodle or whatever's out there these days, and putting together projects, let alone working with others, you know, where maybe they have come from an academic culture where it's very individual, independent, and you have to move in that direction. And I'd say another thing is working with teachers that maybe have never had study abroad experience or teaching experience out of either the state or the countries, or even just with international students. And so the empathy that comes along with that, I feel could be a major challenge that students go through. Yeah.
One of the challenges that I see working in the residence halls with international students is getting involved on campus in certain organizations or activities, and just, you know, trying to connect personally with other students because the cultural differences, and, you know, learning to be comfortable and knowing that different personalities may clash. So
Yeah, absolutely.
say that.
Very good answers. Would you guys say that it would be more of a challenge socially or academically?
I would say both. And once you come in here, you start with the social part, and then you start to get the academic or the educational part. But I would say, yeah, both. Like social part, like coming from Middle East, you know, like it's a culture that is based on collectivism. Which means like the whole family is together, and we're always together, and we stay together, and we spend time
All day,
together.
every day.
Yeah, right. It's not an individualistic culture.
Wow.
So that's like from a social perspective, that is really challenging. And by being together, like I mean it. Like you have the micro family, you have the macro family. You have the grandparents are there, fathers, mothers, grandsons. We're all in the same place. It's not necessarily true that we live in the same place, but like we gather, you know, most of the time.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so when you come to a different culture, like it's a little bit here, like it doesn't have this, this kind of nature. So we try here, like as international students, like coming from the same country or from the same region, like Middle East, like we gather, but still it's not a family. Like we share the same culture, but not a family.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. It was getting so good. We have to take a quick break at this moment, but please stay tuned, and we have some very good questions coming up.
What's going on, my Gen Gappers? I'm Edwin Altamirano, the producer of Generation Gap. Before we go to break, here's a trivia question. What's the most popular college major for undergraduate students? Is it A, science and engineering? Is it B, business-related fields? C, social science? Or D, humanities? Find out when we come back.
It's hard to explain. It just became home. There are hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes and faculty that really get to know you. Amazing internships and everywhere programs that help to find a job that is right for you. It's what IUP is about, a commitment to your success. See it for yourself. Visit us, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
Again, it's Edwin Altamirano, the producer of Generation Gap. Before we went to break, we asked, what's the most popular college major for undergraduate students? The correct answer is C, social science. Now back to you, Taylor.
Welcome back to Generation Gap. At this time, we're going to cut to Allison with another field report before we get back to the panel.
And here we're talking to international students about their experiences at IUP. So where are you from originally?
I'm from Taiwan.
Okay, and what made you choose IUP?
Yeah, because IUP is a very peaceful place to study, and I really like this school.
Awesome. And what's one of the biggest differences between schooling here and schooling at home?
Well, our school in Taiwan library is kind of small, but here is like a full floor. Yeah, and there have a lot of equipment that you can use and information you can borrow. So IUP is a very good campus.
Sweet. Thank you so much for your time. Back to you, Taylor.
Thanks, Allison. Let's get back to our questions for the panel. Now, right before the break, we touched a little bit on the social difficulties as well as academic difficulties. And I kind of got the sense of they're both kind of issues. Could you guys kind of pick back up on that question?
Yeah, absolutely. And he brought up a great point about coming from a lifestyle and culture where family is such a huge and integral part of their lives, and then coming here, sometimes you're completely by yourself. Or, you know, like he said, you might have some other family or friends that are within the same region or at least similar areas in countries, but then you have to start all over, basically. And so then you have to put trust into people and learning, you know, how to trust your neighbor, how to trust your roommate, how to trust your classmate next to you. And then when you have a teacher say, okay, you and you don't know each other, now you have to work together. It's like, oh, well, I barely even got his name. Regardless if it's another international student or an American. And so then you have the issues that may arise with personalities, and like she had mentioned, even in roommate situations, which also can happen in the classroom, as well as work ethic. And so if you have these gaps that have maybe occurred or did not occur in their home countries, it can be problematic here, aside from just the proficiency and accent and slang and, you know, all that goes into it. Yeah.
I think going along with that, any first-year student that comes to a new university, it's a new culture, it's a new surrounding to them, so getting used to, like you said, roommates and learning if, you know, personalities match. And I think that getting involved socially is more challenging for international students, which will, you know, in effect, like, challenge their academics as well. Because if they're not able to talk to someone on a more personal level, then, you know, how can you ask for a tutor? Maybe you want a peer-to-peer tutor system, so that might be challenging for them.
Wow. A lot of good things that I didn't actually ever think about, which kind of leads me to my next question of some of the positive qualities and the positives that come along with basically embracing and becoming a part of a new culture. Could you guys touch on some of the good qualities and, you know, the positives?
Being an international student, I think that counts like when you're in class or with your classmates, like you always feel like you're unique. I'm not talking here about like academic level, but I know the experience that you carry from your home country and you come here. So you start to share what you have in terms of experiences and in terms of life experience, which is the most important thing. I think this is something really positive because both parties, like the person who's coming from another country and the native one, like they both learn from each other. So they learn that kind of lifestyle we have, that kind of culture, everything, and we learn from here like how things are going. So, and I think like this kind of first-hand experience, like we do not rely on media, we do not rely on any, you know, other sources. So you take the experience the way it is. Yeah. So I think like, yeah, this is one of the positive things, like being unique and contributing to others' knowledge.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The beautiful relationships I've seen over the years as a supervisor from our tutoring program called ACE Tutoring, where I hire both American and internationals to help our language learners improve with their English skills, is the sharing of just the everyday pop culture and family culture, academic culture. And years ago, when I first started teaching speaking to our students, I would have a series of questions upon a topic, and I'd say, okay, we're going to go to the library. And basically, I would just let them loose. And I said, you have to go and find your own person to talk to, complete stranger, and interact with them, talk about these questions. And I would listen to some of these recordings, and some of them were great, some of them maybe not so, because of, maybe being too shy, or, the student had too much work and, only just did it real quick. But there were some amazing conversations that you could never research in a book. You could never, find a video on Google and say, this is what you will learn, and having that opportunity where they can just go out and meet and greet and mingle, whereas, it's completely foreign to them, otherwise, Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a very beautiful thing being in the residence halls and working for 2 years with international students. We've done a number of programs, such as a passport program, where anyone on campus is allowed to come through the hall and they experience different lounges of different countries that are represented. And just seeing that intermingling and the conversations that form are absolutely beautiful, and how connections can be made from people from across the world and how alike you can be. Just finding how, alike we are rather than different, I think is really great.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We have to take a quick break at this time. Stay tuned. We'll get right back into it. I'm sorry to interrupt. At this point, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go to our segment, Ruffle My Feathers. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Maurice, and this is Ruffles My Feathers. You know what ruffles my feathers? Receiving emails about how much I owe before I graduate. It is necessary for me to know how much I owe, but they could at least wait until after graduation to tell me. What's worse is we only get 6 months to find a job to pay our loans back. The unfortunate reality is most college grads might not get a job in their field within those 6 months. But we all know schools don't really care and expect to receive the money owed to them regardless. Welcome to the real world, I guess. I'm Maurice, and that's what ruffles my feathers.
Welcome back, guys. We're going to jump to Allison with one last field report.
Hi guys, welcome back. We're talking to international students about their experiences at IUP. So, where are you from originally?
I'm from Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what made you choose IUP?
Because my upperclassmate says it have a good treatment to international students, so I just come here. Yeah.
That's awesome. And what was one of the biggest differences that you saw from schools at home to schools at IUP?
There are lots of differences between Taiwan and America here. And I think the atmosphere of people study is the most biggest difference, because here you can see lots of students studying in library, but actually in Taiwan it's not that much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think the study experience, study atmosphere and the environment is very good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Back to you, Taylor.
Thanks for the field report, Allison. Let's continue with our panel. We're going to jump right into the next question. And I heard a lot about the transitions and the difficulties that come along with that. Do you believe that there are things that colleges and universities could do, or activities that they could provide to make the transition a little more smooth for students coming into a brand new culture, I want to say?
Yeah, I guess like different things, but what they really like when new students come from another country, and like what they need to know about like how things are going here. So the more you allow them to mingle with like people from here, so that will make things easier. This is much better than like having them sitting in a room and we give them like workshops and orientation. The orientation is really important, but not all the time. So, and then we let them go and they experience things themselves. So I think like that would help. Like, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, almost like if we could have like a sponsor or a family or something that could be in arm's reach for students. For example, driver's license situations, or if you get pulled over by the police, you know, how do you even read the ticket, or even a parking ticket? You know, simple things that we take for granted, whereas, you know, the laws are different and things like that. But, you know, for as many videos that the college could provide about student life and housing life, and, you know, as well as academic culture and, you know, how to talk to professors and things like that through interactive videos, as well as, you know, of course, really doing it yourself, you know, would be very beneficial. And one thing that our program has started since the fall of 2014 is called Skill Zone, and it is a tutoring program that is for all international students, as well as the American Language Institute students who are still preparing to go into college. And so that is another thing that we're trying to do to at least ease, you know, the stress that comes with the day-to-day assignments and understanding notes from professors, or, you know, just anything really. Yeah.
I think that IUP does a great job of, you know, having activities and ample opportunities for international students, but I think that they could be enhanced, and perhaps you know, more information could be provided to the domestic students so that they would realize that it's not that foreign to them, you know, and that working with an international student or a peer is just really eye-opening, and the experiences that it could hold. So I think that IUP has good activities, just maybe more putting them out there for students to, you know that they're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
To kind of piggyback off of you just touched on, I do know that there are activities offered here, and I actually heard you speak on the passport activity earlier, and I think that's really cool. And I heard you speak on the Skill Zone. Could you guys actually touch on any other activities or things that are provided at the moment that some students may not be aware of?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Office of International Education has a great program called Conversation Partners, and it's opened to American and international students to help with social skills, as well as, you know, just speaking skills. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen, you know, on campus. It can go out, you know, outside of campus, within the community, as well as, you know, the opportunity to go home with them, or, you know. So that's one really amazing program that they have going on, and they're always looking for students to volunteer. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I'm in the residence halls, like I mentioned, and we have living learning communities, and being in the Global Awareness Hall, we have activities that we have to plan, and we have two committees called the Global Awareness, and then we also have International Orientation. So each month we hold a program that allows the students in the halls and on campus to come and interact and learn new things, such as, I know you had touched on like laws, and we had university police come in and explain some things, and, you know, services that they provide. We had one on sexual health, which is a very important issue that can differ from cultures. And we also just do resume building, and we do other celebrations. So this upcoming Friday, we're actually having the Holi Festival that they do in India. So it's kind of like a color run without the run. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun activities as well as educational.
Right.
Could you, if someone was watching and they wanted to come out to that, could you provide a little more information about where they could come to sign up, or get a little more information about that?
Yes, it'll be outside of Walwork Hall, and it'll be at 4 o'clock this Friday. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
At this
welcome.
time, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to touch on a little bit of everything that we touched on today. Stay tuned.
Oh, hey, it's Edwin again. Before we go to break, here's another trivia question. How much of an increase in earning potential does a bachelor's degree add to a recent graduate's average salary? Is it A, about $7,000, B, about $15,000, C, about $25,000, or D, about 40 G's? Stay tuned to find out.
I fell in love with the campus, with the people, with my IUP life. See it for yourself. Visit us. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
Hey, it's you again. How's it been? I've been good. But back to the serious stuff. We asked, how much of an increase in earning potential does a bachelor's degree add to a recent graduate's average salary? The correct answer is C, $25,000. Now back to you, Taylor.
Welcome back, Gen Gappers. For the last segment, let's go over some last-minute thoughts and opinions from our panel. I like that we got to touch on a lot of the things that I was actually unaware of in relation to the transition period. You know, like that was really eye-opening for me because the smallest tasks that we take for granted and, you know, that are norms for us can be different for someone else. If there is someone watching who's kind of struggling with their transition or is looking for, you know, an outlet or somewhere that they can find assistance, what advice would you give to that student watching?
Like, I would say, like, international student at any university, like, the first source and the most important source to ask is not his fellow international students, not people who have experience coming before him. No, they'll need to go straight to the International Education Office or to the anyone there and to ask them, because like in some cultures, like they feel that it's much better to ask people who came in here something like 2 or 3 years ago, so they know about the ins and outs of everything. So I'm gonna ask them. So the other person, which is an international student as well, is going to help and provide an answer, but this answer may be out of context. So we end up with something like he might be in troubles. So that's why like they will need to ask directly with no fears at all. Whatever happens, like they'll ask people in the international office, or say to ask the experts about their situation, because international students have always different, like I said, different procedures, different conditions, different things. Yeah, like being not permanent residents here. So that's why they have different things. So my advice is like they go to the International Education Office, and the International Education Office, this is their job. They are not there to be judgmental, not to blame you, not to tell you like this is right or this is wrong. They will see and understand what exactly you are going through, and it's their job to provide help, and they will provide help. I'm telling this like based on a personal experience. Like, yeah, like I kept asking people for maybe a year or 2 years, and then like when I go to the International Education Office, like I found like no, life is much easier when I go to them, and they start to provide help and help with.
So when you look back now, do you wish you would have found that place a lot sooner?
Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you hit the nail right on the head. Definitely OIE, without a doubt. I mean, they're here for you, and most likely you went through them before you even got on the plane. And they've been doing this for a number of years, so they are the best professionals. And as well as for me, since I work for the American Language Institute, which is specifically for our language learners, many of our teachers, our staff, as well as the director, we have advisors there that are also students who are able to help with a number of issues. But OIE definitely is the number one resource. And so if you're most comfortable with a phone call or walking in on your own, but if you can't get to them, an email. And if you're not good with typing emails, I'm sure there's somebody out there, a tutor or a neighbor or a friend or a roommate who could definitely help you.
For someone watching, could you tell them where they could find the office on campus?
Office, oh my goodness, what's the name of that building? I know where it is, but I'm gonna get fired for not knowing the name of the building.
Or possibly just on the IUP website. That'll be easier, where they could find some type of information on the IUP website, possibly.
Oh yeah, I mean it's within the departments there. If you just go to the main page of IUP and just click in OIE or Office of International Education, and it will pop up right away. And it's a very friendly website, very easy, not jumbled, and there's pictures and icons and everything too. So
And if there's any difficulty, like finding anything on the website, should they just go to their advisor, their faculty advisor, the coordinator of the program, and ask him or ask her, and they will direct them to the International Education Office.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So at this time, I would like to ask if you guys have any last minute thoughts, any last minute opinions, anything that we spoke on today that you would like to just touch on a little bit more. Now would be the perfect time. The floor is yours. You have some advice that you would like to give to someone who's maybe a little nervous or having a little trouble with their transition or anything of that nature. Now would be the perfect time.
I would say it's just be open for an international student coming here. Just be open, and if you have the tendency to learn about a new culture and to teach others about your culture, believe it or not, you will enjoy your years here. So, but if you are trying to not to communicate with the other and not understanding the other, you will end up being isolated, and you'll find those years could be your worst years.
Wow.
Yeah, and never hesitate to ask. You think a question is stupid or silly or pointless. I'm sure 10 other people are thinking the same exact thing. And so just to be brave and be proactive with your life, because there's nothing worse than feeling confused and lost. You should be enjoying this amazing experience living in another country and meeting all kinds of people and networking and things like that. So definitely get yourself out there, socialize. Please socialize. And if you don't know how to socialize, go to the OIE, go to your CA, and occasionally a friend or two in class, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say just what they've said, be open, share your culture, be proud of it, come here and tell people what they don't know, because it's very interesting to hear. And, when you share experiences, or even I've had students share their personal possessions with me because they respect me enough, and they're, so happy that I've wanted to learn about their culture, and they've shared that with me, and just finding those connections. And also, there's students here, so if there's an activity or an organization that they want to implement at the university, do it. Just if you're interested in something, then make sure it happens here. So.
At this time, I would like to thank my wonderful panel for your great opinions today. I'm Taylor J with Generation Gap. Good night.